Immigration enforcement and sporting events, a growing crisis. The escalating use of immigration enforcement at major sporting events poses a significant risk to international relations and human rights. The recent report by Human Rights Watch detailing the arrest and deportation of an asylum seeker with his children following their attendance at the Club World Cup final in New Jersey represents a concerning escalation in the deployment of immigration and customs enforcement (ICE) operations.
This incident, amplified by broader anxieties surrounding the administration's immigration policies and amplified through social media channels, underscores a critical vulnerability within the framework of international sporting governance. The potential for further disruptions, coupled with the inherent trauma inflicted upon families seeking refuge, necessitates a rigorous examination of the strategic implications and operational protocols surrounding large-scale international events.
The report's timing, coinciding with heightened political rhetoric and ongoing debates regarding border security, highlights a deliberate effort to leverage public perception and demonstrate the perceived effectiveness of enforcement actions. Ultimately, this situation exposes a fundamental conflict between national security concerns and the established norms of hospitality and international cooperation within the realm of global sporting competitions.
Geopolitical risk assessment. Sporting events as enforcement vectors. The utilization of sporting events as a primary venue for immigration enforcement dramatically increases geopolitical risk. The Japan Times article, while providing technical troubleshooting steps for website access issues, implicitly reveals a critical vulnerability: the potential for ICE to leverage sporting events as a strategic tool for immigration enforcement.
The technical explanation, an incompatible browser extension or network configuration, serves as a stark reminder that access to these events, and indeed, the very right to attend, is not guaranteed for all individuals. This incident, coupled with the associated reporting and trending hashtags Donald Trump, Republicans, ICE, Immigration, World Cup, demonstrates a deliberate effort to frame immigration enforcement within the context of high-profile international events, thereby amplifying its symbolic impact and potentially destabilizing diplomatic relations.
The underlying driver of this strategy lies in the administration's broader attempts to control the narrative surrounding immigration and border security. The association of immigration enforcement with globally recognized sporting events represents a calculated effort to project an image of strength and resolve while simultaneously undermining international norms of welcome and hospitality.
Furthermore, the potential for legal challenges and international condemnation stemming from such actions significantly elevates the associated geopolitical risk, demanding proactive diplomatic engagement and a reassessment of operational protocols.
Strategic analysis. Targeting vulnerable populations. The deliberate targeting of asylum seekers at sporting events represents a calculated strategy to maximize enforcement impact and generate political capital. The core strategic argument hinges on the deliberate targeting of vulnerable populations, individuals seeking asylum, at major international sporting events.
The Japan Times article's technical troubleshooting provides a crucial counterpoint, exposing the underlying vulnerabilities inherent in the system, the reliance on individual user configurations, and the potential for interference with website access. However, the incident itself highlights a more profound strategic intent: the use of a high-profile event to maximize the visibility and perceived effectiveness of immigration enforcement.
The report's emphasis on the arrest and deportation of a family with children underscores the deliberate exploitation of emotional vulnerability and the potential for significant human suffering. This strategy aligns with broader political objectives, leveraging public anxieties surrounding immigration and border security to bolster support for restrictive policies.
The presence of related hashtags, World News, Us, Donald Trump, Republicans, indicates a coordinated effort to amplify the narrative and shape public opinion. Moreover, the disruption caused by such actions inevitably generates negative publicity, potentially damaging international relations and undermining the legitimacy of sporting organizations.
A deeper understanding of this strategic approach demands an analysis of the political motivations driving these enforcement actions and the potential for escalation within the broader context of immigration policy.
projected outcomes and strategic recommendations. The continued use of sporting events as enforcement vectors will exacerbate geopolitical tensions and necessitate a fundamental shift in international sporting governance. The predicted consequences stemming from the continued deployment of ICE at major sporting events are undeniably severe, encompassing heightened geopolitical instability, increased international condemnation, and a further erosion of trust between nations.
While the Japan Times article offers only technical remediation, the underlying issue, the potential for ICE to disrupt international events and target vulnerable populations, remains a critical risk. Future projections suggest a continued escalation of this strategy, fueled by political pressures and a demonstrable willingness to prioritize enforcement over international cooperation.
To mitigate these risks, immediate strategic action must be taken, including a formal condemnation of ICE's actions by international sporting organizations, a proactive dialogue with governments to establish clear protocols regarding immigration enforcement at sporting events, and a comprehensive review of security procedures to ensure the safety and well-being of all attendees. Furthermore, sustained efforts to counter the political narrative surrounding immigration and border security are essential to prevent the exploitation of sporting events as political tools.
Ultimately, the situation demands a fundamental reassessment of the relationship between international sporting governance and national security concerns, prioritizing human rights and international cooperation over short-term political gains.